What's going on, guys? Carmine here, and welcome back to my Q&A for Season 7, Episode 4. If you're new here, I like to do one of these after each episode, so be sure to keep sending me some questions on Twitter and Facebook after the next one, and I'll be happy to give you my opinion and answer them as best as I can. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you are, and for those of you who are looking forward to it, the next episode of the Game of Thrones podcast will premiere on my channel in the next few days, so look forward to that. Let's get to it. First question, how did Bran know about the whole Chaos is a Ladder line? Well, the running joke here is that Bran bought seasons 1 through 6 on Blu-ray, but personally I don't think that he should know the whole Chaos is a Ladder thing because it doesn't really make much sense. Bran knows the battle at the Fist of the First Men, the massacre at Harrenhal, and the wedding of Sansa to Ramsay because all those events were outside. If the Three-Eyed Raven, the old man version, warged into crows or whatever else and was keeping an eye on major events, it would make sense that when his memories were given to Bran, those were passed on too. However, the whole Chaos is a Ladder speech is given indoors, inside the Red Keep. So how? You could argue that Bran was able to place himself in those events and enter buildings like he did during Jon's birth at the Tower of Joy. Okay, fine. So how does Bran know about that Chaos is a Ladder part? The only reason he knows about Jon's parentage is because the Three-Eyed Raven led him to that event. So how did Bran or the Raven know when Peter would give that speech? They didn't, which means they would have to have constantly stalked Peter every single day of his life, watching and listening to everything he says. And to me, it seems like such a stretch, but I guess that's the answer? That they stalked Peter's life and possibly everyone else who is in the game. I guess. Maybe all that information overload caused Bran's robot personality we see in this current season. And follow-up question, does Bran know what Podrick did to those ladies at the brothel in Season 3? And the answer is yes. And even I know what Podrick did to those ladies, which is something I can't discuss in this video, but I will be doing so in the comment section. Next question, why didn't Dany wear any armor during the battle with the Lannister forces? I want to say it was arrogance and inexperience and confidence in Drogon's abilities. We've seen the women in Thrones wearing armor before. I'm reminded of a scene in Season 3 where Cersei and Joffrey are having dinner with the Tyrell siblings, and Cersei is wearing some nifty looking armor. Dany, on the other hand, is arrogant. She is used to seeing men go down very quickly in Dragonfire like we saw in the last Battle of Meereen. She thought she'd be completely fine atop Drogon's back, and she is lucky she is. Her ancestor, who was actually shot in the elbow by a stray arrow during their invasion of Westeros almost 300 years ago. I'm surprised the same thing didn't happen this time. Also, Dany doesn't really have any generals in her council to tell her otherwise, that she probably should have worn something, but at the same time, I do like that she didn't. Little details like that show off her character being naive, which is good. She is on top of a fire-breathing airplane, but all it takes is one arrow from one of 20 good men to shoot it, and she'd be done. But this also shows, her confidence in Drogon's abilities to move fast and have great defense against those arrows, and he did. His scales, if I'm not mistaken, took those arrows, and it didn't seem to affect him at all. Once again, I like it. It shows her arrogance that she didn't think she could be beaten. It shows her inexperience because she'd never really stepped foot on a battlefield before, and know that parlay at Meereen doesn't count, and it shows her confidence in her dragon's abilities. Fits perfect for her character. And a follow-up question to this, how did Dany know the exact location of Jaime and his army? This is one of those things they could have answered with one simple line from Varys. Our scouts reported that the Lannister forces are currently residing near this location, my queen. And there you go. By the way, that's my Varys impersonation. I feel like literally every single plot hole could be explained with like one line from the characters. How did Euron's fleet sail all the way from King's Landing to Casterly Rock on the other side of the continent? Just have one line from Euron telling Jaime or Cersei, I had a portion of my fleet stay on the Iron Islands just in case. Boom. Done. Next question, what are the strategic benefits of only using one dragon in the attack? Why not take all three? The benefits of it, to me at least, would be to damage morale. If your men are scared shitless, then there is no way you'd be winning any fight whatsoever. For example, I go into battle with one dragon. I destroy an army of 10,000 men, and I let some live. I let some of them go and escape and tell the tale of how they were utterly destroyed by a giant flying dinosaur. Then, after a while, when the story has spread and gained attention, I go into battle again, but this time with 3 dragons. The next people I fight, I don't even have to attack. They've already lost. To stay and fight would be suicidal, and they know that from the stories. Also, if that one dragon does somehow end up going down and dying, then you still have 2 others, so there's that as backup. Next question, why doesn't Arya reveal that Peter was at Harrenhal discussing things with Tywin? Because it wouldn't matter. We all know Peter switched his allegiance when he plotted to have Joffrey killed with Olenna. He has also proven his usefulness to the Starks, kind of, by having the Vale forces come in to help Jon during the Battle of Bastards. It would also be hypocritical for them to get on his case for that because Brienne also served another king, Renly, before she switched her allegiance to the Stark cause. It would be a far stretch to get on his case for that. And a follow-up question to this, why isn't Bran telling them about Peter betraying Ned back in Season 1? Once again, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Bran say that he gets these visions and memories in fragments? Maybe it's not all there, not yet at least. Maybe he needs time to process all the information he's been given. It would be funny if this process works backwards. Like, he knows about Hardhome and Sansa's wedding, which was Season 5, then he knew about Chaos being the ladder, which is Season 3, then about the Fist of the First Men and Arya's list, which was Season 2. Maybe he hasn't gotten to Season 1 yet when Peter did betray Ned. Next question, after seeing the dragon in action, do you still see the undead army as a credible threat? Yes. The White Walkers still have powers we don't fully understand other than the necromancy and their overpowered ice weapons. They might also have other weapons or magical abilities that could devastate a dragon. Not only that, but people may be afraid of dragons, but whites aren't. We see them mindlessly running towards the opposition and even taking on a giant without fear at one time. No matter how strong any of your dragons are, if they get close enough, they can overpower it. The best plan of attack for her would be to hitting them hard and as far away from the ground as possible. It really just takes one white to just climb on a dragon's back and just stab its eyes out and make it fall to the ground and just finish it off. So she needs to be careful there. Next question, do you think the Golden Company will actually play a part, or were they being mentioned for just the sake of it? I feel like they were mentioned just for the sake of being mentioned. The Golden Company has a big part to play in the books, and it'd be interesting to see them, but if they become as big in the show as they are in the books, then it would be so fucking dumb. Had this season been given 10 episodes, we could have introduced them and included their backstory of being founded by Targaryen bastards as a way to give Cersei another ally, but with only 9 episodes left, and yes, 9 episodes left, Season 8 has 6, and we're only left with 3 for this season, I doubt any new major characters will be introduced. We will focus on winding down the story and killing off the characters we have now. Plus, I feel like the Golden Company is kind of a missed opportunity in the show, especially for Dany's storyline. They could have given us another side to the Targaryen exile to Essos and what path Dany could have taken, given us a character like who has Targaryen blood, but unlike Dany, is kind of a piece of shit who runs his own mercenary company and wants to conquer Westeros, and has been waiting a long time to do so as well. You could have had Dany super excited to meet this long-lost family member of hers she could have teamed up with, but he's just a douchebag with his own agenda. She's kind of torn between keeping her family legacy or doing her own thing. It just seems like her character now is just tied to family legacy, and that is supposedly what's rightfully hers, instead of just trying to make Westeros a better place for everyone. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying it could have been another side to her storyline, juggling between dynasty and what's right. And last question, do you think Jon bent the knee in the cave off-screen? I like to think he did. A lot of evidence in this episode did point towards that, but I hope they don't blurt it out. I like it when certain things like this happen, but are left out, because some things are better left unsaid, because, you know, it can be awkward and just done awfully wrong, but I would rather them just hint at it. But during the conversation between Davos, Jon, and Missandei, you kind of get a hint that he did bend the knee. Not only that, but maybe Jon came to see reason when Dany repeated back the same line he gave to Mance Rayder in Season 5 about pride. Had Mance done things differently, maybe he would have survived and the whole issue of Hardhome would have been a little different as well. All he knows is that he needs her dragons, and to get them, he may need to set his pride aside. So it's entirely possible. And if they do show that he did bend the knee, it would be interesting to get the reaction from the people of the North when they find out that he may not be king anymore. But guys, that is it for today. Leave your thoughts down below. The next episode of the Game of Thrones podcast will be available soon on this channel, so look forward to that, because we'll be taking a closer look at episode 4 of season 7 and discussing more of your questions and comments. You can also catch up on all the latest episodes of the podcast on soundcloud.com/redteamreview. But if you have an Apple device, then don't worry, because we're also available on iTunes as well. Links to all these are in the description down below. But guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Baba Booey.